So what does she see that many of us miss, and how can we get the best out of ourselves, our employees, and even our loved ones?
Hey everyone, it's Terry Hawkins. One of the things I talk about a lot is, and I'm sure I've shared it on a 2 minutes with Terry before, but is the cycle of growth. And I always say, we go through life and we grow and we plateau, then we grow, then we plateau, then we grow, then we plateau, then we grow, then we die. And so, and people always laugh at that, and I go, well, that's actually life, isn't it? Like we go through this growth period, however long our life is, and then of course at the end of it, we're done. Now, the growth part is really, really challenging, especially when we first start on that journey. What's that mean? It means about doing the work. So we get on this growth path about self-awareness and owning our own stuff and not telling the story over and over and over. And we find that first one very, very difficult. So what happens is we get to the plateau part, the rest part, and we remember how tough it was to grow. And so a lot of us stay in that plateau. So there's two parts to growth. And I think one part, and both of them have discomfort, both of them have pain. So the first discomfort comes around when we actually avoid doing what we have to do. So we know what we've got to do, we grow, we plateau, we're plateauing, we're taking that rest period, but we don't want to go back again, so we stay there. And there's discomfort in that because you know that work has to be done. You know you've got to do the work. The other pain comes from actually doing the work. So one of the things that I talk a lot about is sticking our finger on the stove. And if you actually stuck your finger on a stove, like if you came up and you stuck your finger on the hot plate accidentally, the first thing that you would do, the body just instantly, doesn't it, pull back? That's because your body knows from a biological viewpoint to move away from anything that's causing it pain. Now, one of the things that we do with our emotional life is we tell stories that cause us pain. And so what do? We take our finger and we stick it on that emotional hot plate. And we tell the story over and over and over and over. And every time we tell that story, especially if we're telling it when we're fully associated, what does that mean? It means that you're inside the story. You're telling it as if it's happening right now. So, when I was 3, this happened to me. Your brain doesn't know that you're back when, you're in current time. It takes you back to when you were 3 and creates all the same emotions. If you want to be done and you want to go to that next level, stop telling the stories that keep you sad, that keep you angry, that keep you frustrated. Get over it. And I know that sounds really tough. And for those of you who know my background, I've had a few stories that I certainly could have put my whole hand on the hot plate and left it there for 5 years. Well, I actually did leave it there for a lot of years, but I realized it was very disenabling for me. And so when you stop telling the story and turn your back on the heat of situations and face forward into where you want to go and sit here and do the pain of doing things that are uncomfortable or different or new, or I'm thinking of exercise just straight away. We don't exercise because we get a little bit of pain and then we stop doing it. Do things that are different, that point you in the same direction of where your goals are. And I swear you'll start to feel good in no time. Just stop telling the story. Any story that keeps you sad or keeps you in an emotion that doesn't serve you is not a good story. No more hot plates. I'll see you soon.